Hi Three, hope you're well. So for today's lesson, we're going to be looking a little bit more at dividing 2 digits by 1 digit, but we're going to start using the bus stop method. Before we get started though, we're going to do our warm-up. So for today's warm-up, we're going to be doing the same as we did yesterday, which is dividing, but we're just going to be using resources. So the first question says 55 divided by 5. So I'm just going to use the resources just like we did yesterday, or you can use the part whole model as well to solve this one. It says 55 divided by 5. So already drawn out, we've got 55 divided by 5. So I'm going to partition it for this one. So we've got 5 tens and 5 ones. So I'm going to partition it into 5 tens. We've got 5 tens as 50 divided by 5, and then 5 ones as 5 divided by 5. So I can use my known facts to solve this one. I know that 5 divided by 5 equals 1. So I'm going to write 1 in the ones bit. But also, I can use that to solve this one. If I know that 5 divided by 5 is 1, then I know that 50 divided by 5 is 10. If I put those together, 10 and 1, I know that that's 11. So that's one method that you could use. Or we could use our counters and share them out like we did yesterday as well. So we've got 50 in 5 tens and then 5 ones as well. So I'm going to share them out into the 5 groups. So I'm going to start with the tens, because when we divide, we always start with the largest value counter. So let's divide the tens. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. And then now I'm going to divide the ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. To find the answer, I can have a look at each group and see how many is in each one. So I've got 1 10 and 1 1. I can see that I have divided this properly because they're all equal groups. They have the same amount in each group. So in here I've got 1 10 and 1 1. So that makes 11. Same here. 10 and 1 is 11. 10 and 1 is 11. 10 and 1 is 11, and same in there. So I know that 55 divided by 5 equals 11. Can you have a go at the rest on your own? So I'm just going to quickly share my screen with you again, so you can pause it. Okay, so for today's lesson, we're going to be dividing 2 digits by 1 digit, like I said earlier. But this time, we're going to be starting to look at the formal layout for division, and we're using our known multiplication and division facts to do so. So we're still going to be using some models to help support the multiplication, but really it's just going to be getting us into the formal written method. Okay, for this one it says, can you solve this calculation using the resources? So behind me, I've already got out 48, and it says divided by 2. This is very similar to one that we already did together. So you can decide how you want to do it. I'm actually going to use the place value table to do this one. So I'm just going to draw that out. We've got our tens and our ones column. We're going to divide it into 2. So I'm going to draw my table with 2 rows. So dividing it into the 2 rows. 2 groups, 2 rows. So you can see here I've got my tens and ones, and I've got 1 row there and 1 row there, and I'm going to divide my 48 up. Now, as I already said previously, we need to make sure we divide the largest value first, which is our 10 here. So I'm going to start by dividing these. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we've divided up our 10s. So next we need to go to the next largest value counter, which is our ones. So we're going to divide these up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So how would we find out the answer to 48 divided by 2 using this information? Yeah, so we would count up how much is in each row. So I'm just going to have a look in the first row. We've got 2 tens, which I know is 20, and we've got 4 ones. We've got the same in this row. We've got 2 tens, which is 20, and we've got 4 ones. So I can count out 20 and 4 is 24. I'm just going to check I've got the same here. 20 and 4 is 24. So what is the answer to 48 divided by 2? Yeah, it's 24 because that's how much is in each row. Okay, so we're going to start looking at the formal bus stop method. So the first question is 48 divided by 2. I know we've already solved that, but this time we're going to have a go at it using the bus stop method here. I've already drawn it out just like it is on the board. So 1 second. Okay, just as we had before when we represented 48, and we've got the same here, we've got 4 10s and we've got 8 1s. So it's asking us to divide it by 2. So we're going to draw groups of 2 around these, or drum circle with 2 counters in each group. So we've got 1, 2 10s there. That's 1. And we've got another group of 2 here. So we've got 2 groups of 2. So right up at the top, we've got 1 group, 2 groups. So we've divided this 4 by 2, and there's 2 there. So we've got 2 up at the top. Next one we're going to do as well, we're going to do the same. We're going to divide it into groups of 2, because that's the number we want here. We've got 2. So we're going to divide it into groups of 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. And 1, 2. And I just need to count the groups here. 1, 2, 3, 4 groups. So it's the same thing. We've got the same answer here, haven't we? We've got 48 divided by 2 is 24. So the next one still has number 48, which I've got still represented here, in 4 10s and 8 1s. But this time it's asking us to divide it by 4. So I'm going to make sure I draw groups with 4 counters in this time. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 in this group. So I'm going to draw a circle around that. How many groups have we got here? Yep, you only have 1 group. So I'm just going to write 1 up at the top of the 10s column. Next, we're going to look at the 1. So remember, we're putting it in groups of 4. So let's count 4 counters. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's have another go. We've still got some left over here. So 1, 2, 3, 4 counters. How many groups have we got here in the 1s column? Yeah, we've got 1 group, 2 groups. So the answer, what we're going to put in this 1s column is 2. So the answer to 48 divided by 4 is 12. Okay, so I'm just going to really quickly have a look at the second part of the lesson, which is our reasoning and problem solving. I'm just going to talk you through it instead of modelling it. So it says Dora is calculating 25 divided by 5. Before she starts, she says she can divide into the 5 groups using the 2 10s and 5 1s counters. It says, what problem will she face? So for this one, I would suggest that you actually get out the counters. So make 2 10s counters and 5 10s counters. If you can't, if you don't have anything you can use, get bits of paper and rip them up and write 10s and 1s on them and actually try and physically divide it up. I would have a little bit of a look at the 10s column. See, can you divide the 2 10s into 5 groups? What do you think the problem might be? For the problem solving, it says Eva has 96 sweets. She shares them into equal groups and she has no sweets left over. How many groups could Eva have shared her sweets into? So again, this one you're going to have to try it all out. There might be more than one answer, so just see if you can find out as many different answers as you can. So make that number using counters and then try dividing it up into different groups and see how many answers you can come up with. I hope that all makes sense, and just let me know if you're having any issues with it. All right, thank you. See you tomorrow.